Let's get going. Marketing strategy. We've got a storm we got to charge into. I think we would all agree this pandemic has left us with an interesting opportunity and challenge at the same time. And if we're honest with ourselves, some of us have been kicking the can down the road on this marketing strategy even before the pandemic and aren't feeling like we haven't truly solved it yet. So let's stop kicking the can and deal with it. You know, I've heard it said that by not dealing with something, we're actually forced to deal with it. And if we haven't solved our marketing strategy yet, I think I'm in good company when I say coming out of this situation, we're all going to want to be in a place where we're feeling very confident about our marketing strategy and the message we want to be sharing with the marketplace. So a little bit about CultureShoc. Yes, the mascot of CultureShoc is the buffalo, and we are an EOS run company. Everything we do from a branding perspective is about sharing our three uniques with our intentional target market, sharing our proven process and our guarantee. And so we've sat in your seat and we're in this together. A little bit of confession from my perspective. I have been a partner in a marketing firm, the 20, 25 person marketing agency. And so I got to see behind the curtain a little bit, which has given me a bit of a different perspective. And in full confession, I think sometimes marketing agencies can make marketing way more complex than it needs to be. There's an absolute superpower, I believe, in the EOS, in the operating system, EOS. And I think we've got a unique opportunity to help organizations simplify their marketing strategy by just taking a clarity break here. So let's do that together. So into the storm. Let's talk marketing strategy and those four components: target market, three uniques, proven process, and guarantee. I've got 10 questions for you. Those 10 questions are actually on your worksheet that's downloadable. And I've got a ton of examples sitting out there for you that are downloadable as well. Please submit your questions as we go. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. And we'll have some other smart people in the room too that can help us out. Target market, your list. This is where we are obsessing about clarifying who we are looking to share our three uniques with, and to be very intentional about this. And so let's think about this target market from three perspectives: the demographic, geographic, and psychographic makeup. Who are they? Where are they? How do they think? What do they value? What do they fear? Right? And as a team, we take this clarity break and we build out anything that could be in that demographic of our ideal clients. And we think about this geographic: where do we want these clients to be from? And who are they? What do they value? What do they think? What do they fear? And we build out anything that could be in here, and we start to dwindle this down into something that becomes conversational in nature. Notice the two transition words of in and who. These are clients that are in types of companies that are in this demographic area who think or value this. And so I think EOS is a great example of boiling this down to having absolute clarity on what we're looking for target markets for running EOS. They are companies from a demographic standpoint that are 10 to 250 employees that are privately held. For us, they are in Northeast Ohio as a geographic. And the who for them is they are entrepreneurial leadership teams that are open-minded, respectful, appreciative, growth-oriented, frustrated. They want help, and they're willing to be open, honest, and vulnerable to get this growth that they seek so bad. If you've done the hard work to simplify this, great, give yourself a pat on the back. If you're not here yet, if you are not crystal clear on this, one of the best practices I know to do this is to line up your top 10 ideal clients in front of you. What makes these people ideal for you? And to start there. If we have any questions on target market, the list, I'm happy to answer those towards the end of this. We'll move on to the next section here. All right, now that we've got target market nailed, let's dig into three uniques. So when we're thinking about three uniques, this is about your value proposition. This is how we stand out from our competition. And notice it's three uniques. It's not 5 or 10 uniques. It is three. Less is more. These three things are things that make you unique that are in combination with each other. They are not individually all unique standing alone. Ideally, that would be the case, but that's not possible for most of us. So when you are trying to clarify what your three uniques are, one of the best ways I know to do this is to ask your existing clients, especially your ideal clients, what makes us unique? Why do you do business with us? So what I have for you here are a couple of examples. For us, these are ours at CultureShoc. We believe we're the anti-consultants. We are not looking to create dependency. We believe we have mastery of engagement, and we are constantly seeking that and helping companies to achieve that. And bottom line, results are nothing, whether we're talking about EOS or compete on culture side of our business. Those three for us are the three uniques that every single marketing message we put out, whether it's social, website, collateral, sales process, is based on. Here's a couple other examples that we have. These are some clients of ours, long-standing clients of ours. K2M Design, this is a design firm. They've got a very cool organization from a culture standpoint, incredibly responsive with solutions, in this fearless, driven, tenacious approach to their work. They believe those three things make them unique and valuable to that intentional target market which they pursue. Fiorelli Construction, transparency, cool culture, creative partner. A lot of words sometimes we don't necessarily associate with a construction company. That's what they believe stands out and makes them more unique and more valuable to their intentional target market. And Laser Point, we're talking about an IT company, leadership, comprehensive capabilities, and confidence. Those are their three uniques. I know this because they do this. They do IT for us, and they're about owning IT when IT matters, and it cannot fail. And so you want to talk about thought leadership, about the leadership around mapping from that. The IT needs of an organization and having comprehensive capabilities. Those are the three uniques they feel their intentional target market most resonate with. Those are just some examples to get us started. Again, any questions on three uniques and where to go to from here, we'll address those in Q&A. Okay, let's move on to proven process. Here we go. So this is what I feel EOS has done incredibly well. This proven process, I believe, is probably the reason why most all of us are sitting in this room, the EOS process. And on the reverse side of the EOS process, we all know that the EOS model sits there. A couple things that I want to point out about this. I believe that the example that EOS puts out there as far as their proven process is valuable in that a couple things. I love the visual of the process, and I love the idea of the white space on that front page. That being said, that's not for everybody. It doesn't need to look exactly like this, but the idea here is that we are trying to convey, here's what it looks like to onboard an organization into this EOS process and take care of you into that maintenance mode, right? And so what is it going to look like? I'm trying to give our intentional target market peace of mind, knowing that this is a system-driven organization, that we have a proven process to guarantee them a great experience should they choose us as their option. Is your proven process giving your intentional target market peace of mind that you're a system-driven business? And is everyone in your organization sharing this the same way? The other reason why I like this proven process is on the reverse side, the EOS model is sitting there. And what I believe it helps a lot of our clients do is to really sit and self-assess how strong are we in each of those 6 key components on the EOS model. And if there's weakness, the answer is on the other side in the process. Again, I think there's an opportunity here for clients or for companies running EOS to potentially use the front and back side of your proven process. Again, the front 3 to 5 steps demonstrates peace of mind, it catches the eye, and we're keeping it simple. A lot of our clients, when we first start down this process, say, our process is somewhat complex. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's a lot easier to sell something when we simplify that in the eyes of our prospects. So that's number 1 consideration. Number 2 is, if we're going to be scaling a business development or sales team, this keeps us all selling the same way. And it forces us as an organization to follow these 3 to 5 steps throughout the process, because it's an essential promise we are making to them that this is the process we will follow. On the backside, again, demonstrating or sharing your 3 uniques, even your guarantee being present on there, help prospects self-assess what their current state is and that your process is the solution. Again, I'd like to walk you guys through some examples here of some clients of ours and some friends of ours. One of them, I was just in their quarterly session today, O'Neill Insurance. They call it the Risk Connect 360 proven process. This is the process they follow every time for their clientele. This is the front of the process. This is the back of their process. I think they've done a great job of demonstrating peace of mind in simplifying this down to simply 2 pieces of paper as opposed to a large deck that they're sharing via PowerPoint. So that's one example of proven process. We're going to dig into some more of these later on in the presentation. Let's move on to guarantee. Your guarantee is about identifying the biggest fear and or barrier that intentional target market has over choosing you versus another option. And we're trying to address that head on as opposed to kind of running away from that storm and hoping they don't bring it up. Let's be buffaloes and just charge right into that. And it's even better when we can put skin in the game. The EOS guarantee is a great example of this, right? You either love your session or you don't owe us a dime and you have no obligation to continue working with us going forward. We've got tons of examples of guarantees out there that are very valuable. And if we can put teeth to them, that's gold. Sometimes we can't. And so this whole idea of maybe even pulling that back and treating it as a pledge or a promise versus a guarantee is appropriate for your organization. Not every company is comfortable with this, but I have found that most organizations can identify a guarantee somewhere in their client experience that they're trying to address that others aren't. Okay, let's talk guarantee briefly. This concept of the guarantee is for us to proactively identify the biggest fear or barrier that a potential target market client has over choosing us versus another option and dealing with that head on, charging into that storm. And it's best if we can put skin in the game, but not all guarantees can. A great example again of this is the EOS guarantee. It's our session guarantee. If you do not feel you receive value, you do not pay, and you have zero obligation to move on to your next session with us. We have clients that have both service guarantees and sales guarantees, believe it or not. So I have one client, Fiorelli Construction, that basically says, listen, we believe that responsiveness is one of the most important things that their intentional target market is looking from. They want a general contractor that is responsive. So their guarantee is you're going to get a smart response within 2 hours of that inquiry. We have other organizations that have guarantees that are price match guarantees. We have organizations that have sales guarantees that sound something along the lines of, hey, come and visit us in our shop, and if we do not wow you, we will cover all travel expenses. Because they know once they get someone inside of that door, the deal's done. So think about this concept of guarantee. We can even soften it to a pledge or promise. It's not relevant for every organization, but it's certainly worth a shot because every intentional target market has a fear and or barrier. And I would make the argument that especially coming out of this situation from a pandemic standpoint, if you can put skin in the game, this is the place to do it because we're going to have probably some organizations out there that are somewhat risk adverse. Just my opinion. I'll leave it at that. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the 10 questions. I've identified 10 questions that are really put in here to challenge us and to help us really charge into this storm. So let's start off here. Question 1. When is the last time you took a clarity break just on marketing strategy? And when's the last time inside of that clarity break we have taken action as a result of that clarity? Again, confession. When we started implementing EOS, I thought this clarity break was this nice to have tool in the toolbox. And I've come to believe that it is the most valuable tool in that entire box, that if we are not taking clarity to step back, remain calm, focus on our confidence, and protecting that confidence and getting clear on the most important things. A lot of us, the most important thing is freeing up that business development or top of the funnel from a sales perspective, and marketing strategy is where we need to start. So if we're not doing clarity breaks on marketing strategy and this is still an issue, this is something that helps us get out of the gates on this. Question number 2, open and honest. Do you have right person, right seat owning marketing strategy? If we're being open and honest with ourselves and we do not have right person, right seat, this is likely going to continue to be unanswered for your organization. Next, does everyone on your sales team share the target market in 3 uniques the same way? Listen, I'm 100% on board with everyone having their own style. In fact, I love Jack Daly's answer to this. I believe Jack is one of the best sales trainers out there and travels the world. And I got to see him speak, and he said, my largest sales team was 600 people, and he used to have people come up to him pretty consistently saying, you know what, Jack, I kind of have my own style. And he's like, you know what, that's great. But there's one right way to sell this stuff, and we're going to figure that out together, and that's how everyone's going to do it. Again, can we document the 20% that yields 80% of your results, and we can humanize those exceptions? Is everyone sharing your target market and your 3 uniques the same way when they're discussing those? This is not pure, but question 4 is, do you have a script for your version of the 90-minute meeting? The 90-minute meeting is really helping organizations determine whether or not EOS is the right fit for them and whether or not working with an implementer is the right fit for them. My guess is each one of our clients has some version of that 90-minute meeting. Is that scripted for you? And are people sharing it the same way? Again, with their own style, but do we have consistency there? That's just a question and a challenge to you. And it's an opportunity for us to test things. When I shared it this way, it worked. When we shared it this way, it didn't work. And trying to collect some data around this. Question number 5, when's the last time you role played with your sales team on how they share this proven process? I've heard it said from a lot of sales organizations, we don't want our people practicing on our prospects. How do we get that being done in-house? 6, is your proven process a metric on your scorecard? What I mean by this is, are we measuring how often our proven process is being shared if this is something that is part of your marketing strategy? Proven process is not for everybody. That being said, 95% of my clients are using a proven process in their sales process. And several of those organizations feel that this is the governor that has been taken off of their business when they finally simplified and clarified this and are tracking how often it's being shared with their intentional target market. Have you operationalized your guarantee? Are you able to share your guarantee with confidence because you can go execute against that? 8, are all your social media posts, website, blogs, collateral, sales process, everything aligned with sharing your 3 uniques? When's the last time you've audited your last 10 posts, etc., about your organization? And are those pointed at the right intentional target market, sharing your 3 uniques? Are your 3 uniques deeply aligned with your core focus? If your core focus is not inside of your 3 uniques, the EOS 3 uniques being vision, traction, and healthy, the cause for EOS is to help people get what they want from their business. And the niche, what we can do better than anyone, is helping entrepreneurial leadership teams gain traction. And I think a lot of you would agree with that. And you can see that core focus coming to life when we talk about vision, traction, and healthy. Are your 3 uniques deeply aligned to your core focus? If they are, they're deeply aligned to the why of your organization and what you can do better than anyone. And I would make the argument that that's an emotional response. And when our 3 uniques are tied into that emotional response, people make emotional buying decisions. And finally, are you using the pandemic to kick the can here? Are we waiting to see what happens? I watched a TED Talk yesterday that the majority is always wrong. And how do we stand apart? And I would make the argument we stand apart by using this opportunity as something that could be one of the best things that ever happened to us as an organization, because we have a second now to take a clarity break and to really be ready to hit the ground running. Are we using this as an excuse to kick the can? Okay, so those are my 10 questions and challenges to you as an organization running EOS and trying to address marketing strategy. Last thing I wanted to walk through very briefly is just some examples of the proven processes that we have available for download. I wanted to go with more is more. And just so I'm going to run through these pretty rapidly because I'd love to get to some Q&A time here for our organizations. This is a company called OECS. They specialize in safety training. Also a fellow EOS implementer of ours who also owns a safety company. Again, walking the talk. This organization right here, I love the visuals of this. I love how personal it is. I love the stats sitting right at the top, along with the process attached to that. This is an organization I thought was really creative. They're a marketing agency that I work with, digital marketing agency. I loved how this showed up for them. It really speaks to their process, but it also speaks to their creative nature. This organization focuses on building, right? And so talking through that integrated process, again, 2 pages, doing a great job of sharing 3 uniques, proven process, giving peace of mind that there's a system to this organization that they're going to follow every time. Ohio Met, very unsexy business. They're a heat treater, but nothing is sexier than everyone doing it the right way every time. And these guys do that. I think I just stole a quote there from Mike Payton. Sorry about that, Mike. but I use it all the time. Laser Point just spoke to these guys. Your path to IT peace of mind. This is how do we simplify something that is incredibly complex? These guys do it better than anyone. And finally, EBS. These guys are out of Dayton, Ohio. Great group of guys, great group of people, but they're an investment firm or wealth management firm, and they are meticulous. In fact, many of them are pilots. So you want to talk about a system-driven business. I think about pilots and their checklists and their approach to how they manage wealth for individuals and organizations is, and I believe, second to none. So just a couple of examples I wanted to share with you guys as we wrap up here. Before I conclude, I just wanted to share one piece of data that I found, and that is started doing some digging around. Should organizations be pausing their marketing and advertising efforts in the midst of this pandemic? And the data says no.